You're listening to Tech Gumbo on Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Baton Rouge's local talk and information leader.
Welcome back to Tech Gumbo. It's Haggai Davis, along with Haggai Davis, and we're talking about ransomware. Before we get there, I want to remind everybody you can, if you'd like a free network assessment on your business computer network, give me a call at 225-216-2169, or you can go to our website, gulfsouthtech.com/risk. Register, and we can come out and do a very, very thorough, detailed breakdown of all the computers across your network, the server, what's there, what kind of security risk you have, and just give you a real deep dive insight as to what's going on with your network. So we're talking a lot about ransomware today, and just to kind of recap a little bit of that last segment, why the ransomware is just going out of control.
So ransomware, a lot of hackers are realizing how easy it is to do this, how once they send the virus out, they don't have to do any more work. The ransomware locks down your computer, and you either pay them or you hope you have a really good security backups.
That's right. And so if you have a good firewall system and you have a good off-site backup, then you can combat this thing. But there's a couple of articles there. What are some of the signs that you might be a victim of ransomware?
So ransomware is not necessarily a subtle bug. It's wants to let you know because it wants you to pay them. So some of the things are it pops up a message on your screen saying you've been hacked by ransomware,
and then it gives you a time. Once it launches, okay, you've got 72 hours to pay us with a Bitcoin or else. And else is not a good thing. So if you do get hit with a ransomware, get your IT company involved as soon as possible, and we can start making some decisions as to, or is it best to go ahead and pay this, or do you want to fight it? And there you got some decisions. Because if you pay the ransomware, okay, it costs you maybe $500 to get the code and undo it. If you want to fight it, and it takes 15 hours of the technician's time at roughly $100 an hour,
yeah.
Are you wanting to spend the money just out of spite, or as a purpose, or are you looking at what's the best way? And that's why they want to keep it relatively inexpensive, because if it's only going to be $400 or whatever the Bitcoin is trading at that time, versus the amount of hours to go back in and rebuild the server, rebuild the computers, rebuild everything, it could take 20, 30, 40 hours to rebuild everything at $100 an hour versus, just $500, let's go with that.
Right.
So you got to make sure which way you want to go with it.
Now, if you have a secure backup, if you have, some plan in place to take care of this ahead of time, how much would it cost you?
Well, you still got to go back and rebuild the server. And it's still going to cost you a lot of hours. I mean, even if you have an offsite backup and you can spin up your server in a virtual cloud and everything, there's still a lot of hours involved in recreating everything, then downloading all your information back onto the server and getting things back. It's not just a quick fix. So
it really places the emphasis on making sure that you have a secure firewall ahead of time.
Absolutely. The next big step, next big sign that you might have been a victim.
So the next big sign is there are certain files that just won't open. And it's not the normal kind of won't open. Are clearly locked down.
That's right. You're going to start getting error messages, and at that point, Windows can't open this file. Or to open this file, you need to go to this site and put in a code. You might be a victim of ransomware at that point.
Yep.
Next one, if you have odd or missing file extensions.
So this one is a little bit harder to notice if you're not as familiar with computers. Normal file extensions are like .doc, which is a Word document, .pdf, .jpeg, which is a picture, .exe is one that Windows uses to run programs.
Right. everybody knows what a PDF is,
Right?
And or a .doc or .xls for an Excel file. If you can't find those files, you were working on an Excel spreadsheet, and it's just not there. And the Word document that was, it's not there either. Things may start coming into place real quick for you.
If you see something that has a dot cryptid or a dot crypt or does something like that show up, and you say, that wasn't there yesterday, that wasn't there a week ago.
That's right. And then the fourth big sign is when you receive instructions to pay the ransom. Just open decrypt your files by putting in the code. Your files have been encrypted. Big messages like that say, you've got ransomware, and until you pay me the money, you don't get the code.
Right. And that's like I said earlier, they're not trying to be subtle. Some viruses want to just creep across and just, look at what you're doing, and they don't want you to know
That's
they're
right.
there.
The malware more wants to just read your information and just siphon everything away from you over time. These ransomwares, these crypto lockers, these crypto walls, these ransomwares, they want money now.
Right.
And they want to get their money and get out.
Exactly.
And that be done with you. So there are some tricks that ransomware uses to fool you. So when you get things, some different types of files, when you get, the first one, some ransomware offers different target businesses. They'll go after you for all kind of different things, but when Jigsaw happens, you get deleting files at irregular intervals, trying to increase the urgency to pay ransom. So, hey, you didn't pay fast enough, so we just deleted a third of your files.
Hope you didn't need that third.
Yeah. So, some other things when you're encrypting your drives, there's what's called the PETYA, PETYA ransom. It encrypts the master file tables, and it just goes from there.
Right. So you also have some other things called like a MacTub, and so this compresses the files first, so that whenever it's encrypting them, it's the encryption process is faster. So that way, once it's into your server, into your software, it begins the encryption process even faster, and you have even less time to react.
That's right. And there's more of them. There's the simple locker. It's targeting your non-Windows platforms that goes after your Androids or your Linux servers or any one of different types of things. There's, you have the DMA locker, which is that Locky. That's the one that hit that hospital.
Right.
Crypto Fortress, and these again are just different types of ransomware that will go out and it just grabs a whole lot of different files and then it blocks you from being able to do anything with them.
And I think one thing that people might not realize is that the cloud servers are not necessarily safe places. We tend to think of cloud servers as being more secure. However, certain types of ransomware have been written specifically for the cloud, and so they can creep across various cloud networks. And so you have to make sure that even your cloud is secure.
That's right. And because just because you have a server in the cloud doesn't mean it's any different than the server sitting there in your office. I mean, you're still communicating with that server every time you log in. And so that ransomware can run across your server. It runs across your network. Just because the server's in the cloud doesn't mean it's any different than one right there in the office. So sure, it's going to get locked down as well.
You have to make sure you have a firewall there, some sort of protection.
You have to have good backups. There's a lot of different ways that you can try and take care of yourself. One thing you have to do is educate your users.
Right. And so again, there's so many different types of things that you have to be on the alert for. It's important to make sure you are aware of these things. The ransomware is known by the intelligence and security community. You have to make sure that your users are aware of, this is something that could get to you.
And ransomware doesn't care what kind of computer you are.
Absolutely.
If you've got a Mac, that's fine. They don't care. If you've got a Linux, if you've got a PC, it's coming after you. Once it gets on the network, gets on your computer, it's got you. And so whether and again, you can get it just. It's not just that picture that your mom sent you of the blue Danube and things like that anymore. It can be inside of a PDF. They can bury it inside of spreadsheets.
Right.
You can go to websites and just click on a function at a website, and all of a sudden now it's got you. So you've got to be very, very careful as to what you're doing, what you're clicking on, and have a really top-notch cybersecurity policy for your business, and then electronics to take care of your business. So we're going to spend one more segment here. We're going to talk about some different ways of fighting ransomware in the next segment. This is Tech Gumbo on Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Baton Rouge's local talk and information leader.
You see it